Hey, if Kaizer Chiefs want to win the league, these are not the players who should be starting.
Welcome back to Afrik Football, guys, and today's video is our 10,000 special with Mr. MKM coming directly to you from Algeria. Actually, no, he hasn't been in Algeria for a long while, but he is my second. We are the core content creators of Afrik Football. So for this 10,000 special, it's gonna be a bit relaxed. We'll be talking about Kaizer Chiefs' new signings, which are ultimately how many? I'm actually looking at them. There are 8 new Kaizer Chiefs signings, and our notion for this video ultimately is going to be deciding which players are going to make it to the starting lineup, which is the very starting 11, and which players aren't going to make it to the starting 11. So it's going to be a discussion between him and me. And I'd like to mention firstly, our core content creator this afternoon was with a player who Kaizer Chiefs had shown interest in, Moses Phiri. I'd done a video about it, but we want to have Moses Phiri right here in the studio to tell you why he couldn't make it to Kaizer Chiefs. So watch out for that video. And now we're going to get started.
So we're actually having 8 players for the new Kaizer Chiefs signings. And for these guys, I'm sure Zuze will walk us through the players, and I'll give my suggestion on if I believe these players will be starting for Kaizer Chiefs or if I believe the players won't actually start for Kaizer Chiefs. So Zuze, you can walk us through the players.
Alright guys, before we do even get to it, if you like this video or concepts like this video, he is originally an Orlando Pirates fan. That means that we are going to do another video that's focused solely on Orlando Pirates signings. But if you want to see us do another video on the players that have left Kaizer Chiefs so far, give us a like. Remember to subscribe, and let's get started. Alright, off the bat, as my co-commentators basically stated, they said that I will introduce the players, and we have our laptop right here so that we can be looking at the statistics, so that it's more of a discussion because it's our 10,000 video and we've never appeared, the both of us, in one video. So this is the first time. This is the very first video. So we're going to start with the very first player on our list is Yusuf Mark. I did a video on it a few weeks ago. I talked about Yusuf Mark and how I would love to see him at Kaizer Chiefs. Ultimately, Yusuf Mark is signing a 3-year contract, and he's coming from Sekukune United. And for me, I'm going to start it off. No, actually, I'm going to ask my co-presenter, what do you think? Do you think he's going to make it into the starting lineup, or do you think he's one of those players that's going to be on the bench until he proves himself?
I actually feel Yusuf Mark will actually be starting at Kaizer Chiefs. This is because he's an attacking midfielder, and last season Kaizer Chiefs in the attacking midfield department looked very weak. They were not creating enough chances. So I feel Yusuf Mark coming from Sekukune United might actually start. Actually, he will be starting for Kaizer Chiefs.
No, I understand where my co-presenter is coming from. Guys, you see, I'm not used to presenting somebody, but yeah, let's go on. But I understand what he's saying, that Yusuf Mark is one of the players. And seeing all the rankings that have happened from the last statement we had, I also do somewhat believe he might start. But I personally think the preseason is what is going to determine. How he's going to perform during the practice sessions of a preseason is what's going to determine if he's going to walk directly into the starting 11. So for this player, we're going to move on to the very second player, and this player is somebody you guys have to excuse me on how to pronounce his name. His name is Nduduzi Shawlana. Yeah, Nduduzi Shawlana. I think that's how it's pronounced. Ultimately, this player is coming from the Kaizer Chiefs Academy, and that means that he's being promoted to the main team. This player, before he got, while he got to the main team, he had gone for trials in Belgium and Spain, and ultimately, that's why I think this player has been given a chance. He was very impressive and the most impressive player from the Diski Challenge, and he's gotten a contract of how many years, Mr. Mwamba?
3-year contract.
Yes, so now, hit us.
Okay, for this player, I feel he's a central attacker, and I believe this player is one of those players who's a young talent to watch out for. I definitely not believe he will start in the Kaizer Chiefs team.
Wait, say it again. You definitely do not believe he'll start?
Yes, I'm very sure he won't start in the Kaizer Chiefs team because he's too young and has got a lot to learn. But in the next season or two, I actually see him starting. But for this coming season, I don't see him starting. That's my final say. Verdict, not to start.
Personally, I think he might be right. Mr. Mwamba might be right. But ultimately, what I think is Dillan Shepherd has ultimately shown that he likes younger talent. And I think him calling this player the main starting lineup means he has a future for him. Even though I think they only signed him on a professional contract to distract those people from Belgium and Spain where he had a contract, so that if he has to go abroad, Kaizer Chiefs may cash in on this player. So Unfortunately, I'm willing to side with Mr. Mwamba here. He might not walk into the starting lineup, but he might be on the bench and might maybe play a couple of decent games, maybe a smaller game, and he might be brought in for the Nedbank Cup and some cups while we're at the beginning stages of them. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. And we're going to move on to the very next player. And the player we're going to look at, the third player, is Siatembe Sithebe. I think I got that right. I probably got that right. So this player, we've done a couple of videos on him. He was at AmaZulu and he had a lot going on when the transfer had been announced last year that this player is going to leave AmaZulu going for KAIZER Chiefs. Sandile Zungu came out and stated that he did not want his players to interact with KAIZER Chiefs, and he ultimately banned this player from playing KAIZER Chiefs, or he ultimately banned this player from playing for AmaZulu. So, Mr. Mwamba, hit me with the good news.
Well, I feel for this player, coming from his ban, I feel he might not start in the first 10, 15 games, but I actually see him becoming a starter. He's actually pure talent, but then for him to actually start starting games, he needs the form. And considering he was banned from playing for AmaZulu and hasn't played professional soccer for the past 6 months to a year, I feel this player will be a bit rusty at the beginning of the season, but as the season goes by, I'm sure he'll be a starter. So final verdict on him, he's a sure starter for next season.
Unfortunately, sure starter for next season. Okay, that's actually I was surprised. I thought you'd go the other direction, but yes, ultimately I also feel the same. I feel this player is going to be a sure starter. He's gotten a 2-year contract. And seeing that they fought so hard to get him, I don't see any chance of him not starting. And seeing all the exits that have happened in the midfield department, I believe this guy is going to start as well. So yeah, as the tally will show on the screen, yeah, I also agree with Mr. Mwamba, which is weird. Why am I agreeing with this man? But if you guys disagree that this player will start in the starting lineup, let us know in the comments below. And let's move on to the next player. And our next player is Dillan Solomons. Okay, so ultimately this player, there's been lots of controversy. It's a bit of real AM there, a bit of real AM here. He's getting a 4-year contract. At age 26, this is the only player who's gotten a very big, long, extended contract. He comes from Swallows FC and getting 4 years at KAIZER Chiefs for a 26-year-old. I don't know how I feel about that, but that would be a video for another day. But Mr. Mwamba, hit me with the good news.
Well, firstly, for Solomons, I feel it's bad business on KAIZER Chiefs' end. You do not give a 26-year-old a 4-year contract, much worse in Africa in the PSL. But I feel this guy might be a starter because, hey, why would you give a guy a 4-year contract and not start him? I feel Solomons will be a starter, and I do not know on your side, but I feel this guy will be a starter, and I saw him play in the past 2 seasons. He's been an okay player.
Okay, so final verdict being?
He's a starter.
Alright, I will decide this is the time I'm going to bring it to you guys. He is not going to start for me. 4 years is just because I feel his agent is very good. The agent managed to con KAIZER Chiefs into signing this player for 4 years, but I understand what the controversy that's going on, but I think his head might not be in the right space due to all these commotions going around, and I believe maybe in the first few games he'll get a starting position, but once we see the quality and his adaptability to KAIZER Chiefs, he might not be starting. So my verdict is he's not going to be a starter for the rest of the season. Maybe the first few games, but after that, no, he's not going to be a starter. And you guys can basically go in the comments and tell us what you think, if you think this player is going to start or not. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. We drop such quality content, me and Mr. Mwamba. We'll be bringing you better content. The more people subscribe, the more we'll be able to bring you football player interviews and all that good stuff. So let's move on to the next player. Alright, and now we move on to the 5th player that KAIZER Chiefs has signed. I am probably gonna butcher this name, but his name is Kamohelo Mahlatsi. I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, Mr. Mwamba. No, Mr. Mwamba is like working with these guys who are from South Africa. He should probably know how to pronounce all these names. So I'm looking to him. And yeah, so ultimately this player is signing a 3-year contract, and that's what we're looking at the screen right now. He's an attacking midfielder, central midfielder, and he plays for Morocco Swallows. So Mr. Mwamba, hit me with the good news.
Well, for Mahlatsi, I feel it's going to be tough business for him to actually start, considering the sign Yusuf. So it will be a challenge between Mahlatsi, Yusuf, and I feel Sithebe too will be in that mix. So for Mahlatsi, I see him being like the 3rd best amongst the 3 names I've mentioned. So I don't see him starting, but hey, he's always proved us wrong in past seasons. We always see him start time and again. And the best part is he can play as a center forward. So we're going to look forward to seeing this player play. But for me, I don't see him play more than 10 games next season.
All right. That is a lot of information to assimilate. You don't see him playing more than 10 games.
I don't see this guy.
Bossman.
I don't see him playing more than 10 games next season. Because, hey, if Kaizer Chiefs want to win the league, these are not the players who should be starting. I'll call it bluntly.
All right, all I'm going to say is Kaizer Chiefs has gone out and splashed the bank on a player from Morocco Swallows. And this man right here says he's not going to be starting. Personally, here's my verdict. I have seen the boy, and I think he is an okay player. This boy might be right. He might not be getting as much game time, but I think he will come on as a sub in certain games. So he's not making it directly to my starting 11, and I don't think he's going to make it to other Zore's starting 11. So what we just have to see. He has to prove us wrong. He has to show us that he is the best of the best. But with a 2-year contract, it means that they didn't really see him in the long-term vision. So I don't know, but maybe Mr. Momba's right. And let's move on to the next player. And our next player comes by the name of Matlou. I'm not going to read his first name because I don't know how to pronounce that. So if anyone knows how to pronounce it, please send me a VN. And you can send me a VN by subscribing or following me on Twitter at Zuze Kagulura on Twitter. I'm going to leave my name down here so you can follow me. Or you can follow us on Afrik Football and you'll be able to interact with the both of us because we run the account. And we can be chatting, and let's move on to this player. So this player is coming from Swallows FC. And I've seen Kaizer Chiefs has this trend. They've signed a couple of players from Swallows FC and 2 players from Stellenbosch FC. The last player who we're going to discuss as well. So Mr. Wamba, hit me with the good news.
So, you see, they get Matlou and they get the previous player we talked about, both being attacking midfielders. I do not know what Chiefs are trying to do. Probably are trying to starve Swallows of attacking midfielders or something. But, hey, for Matlou, I won't even hide it to you. I don't even see this guy playing more than 2 games next season. I do not think he's the best player around. I was actually shocked when I woke up to the news that Kaizer Chiefs were pursuing to sign this player. Later on, managing to actually sign this player. I do not know what's going on at your camp at Kaizer Chiefs, but you guys need to get your stuff together because you're signing way too many players, and I see yourselves getting in a situation whereas the situation where we're back, where you have Campbell and you have got different players where you can't get rid of them, and you do not want to be in that boat, but I see you guys going back to that boat.
You know, I'm saying something here, Makosi fans. This man here, being an Orlando Pirates fan, is coming out here saying that we are just getting some talent that we don't need. And I thought about it when all this news came out that night. I was like, why are they signing so many attacking midfielders? And why are they signing so many midfielders? But I understand you have to have squad depth, but for me, this player is not going to make it to starting lineup. Mr. Mombadiki was final verdict. What was the final verdict again?
He's never making it to the starting 11. The best he'll do is come in as a sub.
No, I understand where it's coming from. But yeah, no, so it's true. We understand where it's coming from. And I also weirdly have to side with Mr. Mwamba. So it means that this player might be a substitution player. So guys, if you disagree with this analysis, let us know in the comments below. And let us move on to the next player that has been signed by Kaizer Chiefs. And this is none other than Zitha Kwinika. Yes, I did cover this player previously in a couple of our videos, and we talked about how much class and quality this player is. He's from Stellenbosch FC, he's a defender, and comes with a 3-year contract, which is something that we've needed. We've needed a partnership at the back, and I talked about it in the video that I'll link up here. You guys can check that video out, and you know more about this player. But Mr. Mwamba, hit me with the good news.
Well, for Kwinika, I personally feel he's one of those players who actually might start for Kaizer Chiefs. But there's always that but for these kinds of players. They're the sorts of players where they're playing well for this club and they move to the next club, and you'll be looking at the player and you'll be thinking, was this guy one season wonder? So looking at such a defender and him signing a 3-year contract, we can only hope for the best for the guy and hope he performs. So as you guys make it to the CAF Champions League next season and maybe win the league, but we all know it's a Sundowns league at this stage, and maybe win the league with such a player. But to be honest, I actually see this guy starting. So final verdict, I see him starting.
Okay, Mr. Mwamba, hit us with the truth. Personally, seeing that he's the one defender that Kaizer Chiefs has signed, I think it is true. He might actually start. There's no reason for him not to start, and I think he might be a very good rival for everyone at the back because people have been misbehaving. Some people have been trying to fight the coach. We have a video on that, a short on that, where somebody tried to fight the coach. I'm not naming names and we're not pointing fingers. But yeah, definitely this player is going to make it straight to the starting lineup. And I believe he's going to be a very good partnership partner for the person who's going to be playing in the back 4-5 with. And we're going to move on. And before we move on, remember to like and subscribe as we're trying to get to what, Mr. Wamba?
We're trying to get to 12,000 subscribers.
What? No, we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. This man does not have faith in himself. But no, remember to like and subscribe. We're trying to get to
100,000 subscribers.
Yes, we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. And let's move on to the next player. And this player comes in the form of Ashley Dupres. Mr. Wamba. Ashley Dupres. He comes from Stellenbosch FC. He's a center forward. He's coming with a 3-year contract. What else does it say? His value, according to this website we're looking at, transfer.com, says he's like a lot of money. That's what I'm gonna say. He costs a lot of money. That's what they're saying.
It's 375,000 pounds. I think.
Apparently, he costs a lot of money. Mr. Mwamba, hit me with the good news.
Well, Ashley Dupres is probably the most entertaining signing Kaizer Chiefs have got because he's a center forward. You guys got rid of Kambole, so he's going to come in.
Oh no, don't mention Kambole. It's Nekovic you're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah. You got rid of Kambole and Nekovic was actually heading there. So you guys currently don't have a center forward. So seeing that Dupres is coming in, I actually see him as a perfect fit. He's coming in like 24-year-old guy, rather turning 25. I think he's a 1997 guy. 25-year-old guy. He's probably at the prime of his life. He's coming in at a height of 1.76, of which for the African leagues is a good height for headers and everything. He's actually quite tall, and he's actually got the skill in his arsenal to actually dribble past 2 or 3 defenders and actually get a goal. So for me, he's the most exciting signing Kaizer Chiefs have made, and I actually go with Dupres actually starting. Amongst all 8 players we've discussed today, he's the only guy I actually see starting all 34 games of the season.
All right then. You've seen this man is a wealth of knowledge. He knows heights. He knows player statistics. This is the man who does most of the scripting for our videos. Guys, please like and subscribe. You've seen his face now and you don't see his face a lot. So this is our 10,000 video. And all I'm going to say is I concur. I can't fault that. He's given the backing. He's given us the numbers. He's given us the statistics. I believe this man is the high value badge signing we've wanted as Kaizer Chiefs. And I hope he excels. I hope he gets many goals. And I know this man was laughing at us and saying that it's still a Mamelodi Sundowns league, but I kid you not, we are going to win the league.
If we're all being fair, Sundowns win the league before we actually kick the ball. You know, we'll be watching the league for formality, so I don't see Pirates winning it next season. I don't see Chiefs winning it. We've offloaded so many players as both clubs, but it's still not going to happen because Sundowns are better tactically. They've got the better players. I know many people will beg to differ, so hit the comment section below and tell us why you feel Sundowns might not win the league. But I personally feel Sundowns are going to win the league, and we're planning on dropping a video where we'll actually talk about where we believe all teams will actually finish next season, and your favorite team Kaizer Chiefs will be there and Orlando Pirates will be there. So you hear it from both of us where we believe these 2 teams will actually finish next season. So watch out for that video on Afrik Football.
All right, guys, and we've wrapped it up. All the players who are going to be starting 11 have been talked about. But what do you guys think? You are the 12th player as the fans. Let us know in the comments below. And yeah, we're not just the Kaizer Chiefs page. We bring content like Orlando Pirates nonsense here.
Oh, and in other news, I met Moses Phiri.
Yeah, give us a brief on the coming interview.
There's probably going to be a photo up here or somewhere.
Yes, I'm gonna put it. Don't worry.
We're going to put the photo. I met Moses Phiri, and you know, I actually had a discussion with him. I asked him as to why he didn't want to move to AC, to Kaizer Chiefs to be specific, because there were all these rumors in newspapers talking about him coming there. But his official say was, you know, for an African player right now, the CAF Champions League means a lot to African players. It's one of those leagues where you actually want to play. It's one of those leagues where if you play in it and you're very good at it, you get a move to Europe. So he said, sitting down, most of the South African clubs that wanted him actually were not playing in the CAF Champions League. And
no, let's not break the content. That is gonna be a video, guys. So yeah, you see, this man has all the data.
Watch out for our next video where we actually talk about Moses Phiri not moving to Chiefs or Pirates.
So now this basically what it's saying is the reason players don't want to sign for Kaizer Chiefs is the next video. And this has been Afrik Football, guys. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.